Well, let's take you back to our top story where we talked about the governor, that's the governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, imposing a 24-hour curfew on Ifon, Ilobu and area Osun communities. And this decision, they say, is to curb the further spread of communal crisis that has been ongoing in the community. I understand that we have the national president of Ilobu Development Union, Olufemi Salakoi, joins us on TVC News at 10. It's good to have you join us on the news, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Can we understand what the current situation is now in Ilobu and how this communal crisis really has affected your community?
Well, the current situation now, as I'm talking to you, is very grim. And a lot of people are homeless, a lot of businesses destroyed. And everybody, even though there's a 24-hour curfew in place, grace of the executive governor, everybody is in apprehension. Nobody can really go to sleep. In fact, people left in the town now are people that probably don't have anywhere to go or too old to move. So it's quite sad and worrisome. It's been the most traumatic 24 hours for us in the peaceful community.
Of course, the governor, and I know that a lot of persons in Osun State are wondering why this has lingered for so long. The governor has also said he's not happy about the resurgence of this crisis. What do you think really are the underlying causes of this conflict, and how can they be addressed? Why is it taking your community so long to settle with your neighbors?
Thank you. We are not in disagreement with anybody. And there are areas of land that we call probably disputed, but are court judgments on them that clearly define and delineate who owns what. And that remains unchallenged in any court of law. And there has been going back and forth on it, but until probably a court of law says, oh, this is not yours again, then I can say, well, it's not mine. And the government is aware of that, the governor is aware of that. Recently, we put in place a peace committee to oversee. We are still waiting for the outcome of that committee. The committee is still at work. Last week, they were in my town to look at the demarcations and where we claim our own land gets to, as they've done for the other two communities. And no report, why the interim or final has been made by this committee. We are still waiting, looking for the outcome of this committee. When we woke up yesterday to gunshot, and then our community was overrun by mercenaries, gun blazing, destroying market, destroying houses, and so many things. Quite sad. Quite sad.
Are there concerns really or fears that the community has regarding the curfew on all the ongoing crisis? Or was it that your neighbors were triggered by some reports they've heard from the committee? Is that the situation?
Oh, well, the committee, we are all in the committee. The three communities are representing the community. The committee. And I can't remember anything that has come out of that meeting that will trigger this. It is totally an unprovoked attack. There's nothing, it's not something that, if something has happened, we will have been looking forward to it. We will have shouted to government and security agencies, even the DSS will have picked it up that something is about to happen. But nobody saw this coming from any angle. Nothing we can think about could have triggered or be responsible for the action. Absolutely nothing. And that's why we are all caught unawares. Absolutely nothing.
I know that for you and, of course, residents and indigents of Ilobu, this is not really the happiest times for them, considering how many shops, how many people have been destroyed, how many people are displaced currently. But for you, really, how has this communal crisis affected your community? Going back to when you've had previous, clashes with, Ifon, and then now another clash, how does this communal crisis really affect your community?
See, it has affected us economically, it's affected us psychologically, it's affected all facets of our life. There can only be progress when there is peace. There can only be investment when there's assurance that your investment is safe. A lot of people are abandoning their properties and moving out of town. a lot of investment that should have come our way are being scared away. Not only my community, Ilobu, even Ifon too. So we are together, like for a stranger, if you drive through that town, you won't know there are 3 communities. We are that co-joined, we intermarry. We are all linked by blood, by so many things. So the 3 of us are suffering it. We are one of the closest communities to the state capital, but come there, there's nothing to show because of this insecurity, because of this periodic crisis. In less than 18 months, this is about the 8th attack. 8 attacks in my community. So there's no way that will not impact the living style of people, the living psyche of people, and of course, investment prospects. We've been going down the drive when it comes to advancement and progress merely because of all this insecurity. So it's a very damaging occurrence. It's quite painful to us and regrettable, really.
Let me clarify, really, who is responsible for these attacks? If these three communities seem like, you know, a tripod, who actually is responsible? I know you had said that some mercenaries came into the community, but do you have an idea of who is responsible for this attack?
Well, I will say by utterances and by some things that you have seen in the last couple of months, it will not be difficult to point a finger. The attack yesterday came, the people came in from Ifon. They entered from Ifon. And when they were going back, they returned to Ifon. So
you have evidence. You have evidence of this?
Oh, they didn't drop from the sky. They did not drop from the sky, and they didn't come out from my town. You understand? So it's not like I mean, and this is daytime. It didn't happen in the night. It did not happen in the night. It was during the daytime. And a couple of them that people can we know that these are not. I mean, they are not regular faces. They are not indigenous around here.
National President of Ilobu Development Union, Oluwafemi Salako, thank you so much for talking to us. And of course, we pray that you are safe.
Thank you, ma. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.